The majority of students at the University of Arizona believe that U of A is striving for a diverse student body. I really firmly believe that behind the scenes, we are working very hard to ensure that the student body is diverse. So really, U of A, there's just literally hundreds of things that students could get involved in, and it's important that they're able to identify diversity as a thread that runs through all of the campus engagement. The majority of students are able to say that there's a diverse faculty and that there's a little more work for us to be doing, right? For the faculty really to catch up with the diversity of the students, and for students to identify clearly and squarely with faculty as role models and as people that they can look to and identify with culturally. The university does a lot of work with faculty around teaching and design and diversity and social justice, climate issues. So we know that that's an important area, faculty engagement, and it's something that I know that we are really beefing up right now in light of recent events across the country.
I think that for many years, when discussions around diversity, in particular inclusion, is more of a new issue. And I think why students are more educated or more aware is because as individuals, we don't just identify with one identity. We are not just one thing. We are multiple issues. So I am African American, I am female, I am Christian. There are a lot of identities that each of us have, and they intersect. And so I think that there's more recognition by individuals that they don't have to put themselves in a box, and that all of who they are should be recognized and rewarded and celebrated. We're happy with the results of the Campus Climate Survey, that students feel that we as an institution are sensitive to diversity and inclusion. But because we're the University of Arizona, and all of us who are in leadership positions are always looking for where we can improve, while we celebrate the stats that show that students feel that we're sensitive, we tend to focus on, well, what about that percentage of students who are not feeling that we're sensitive? And let's dig a little bit deeper to find out why those students aren't feeling comfortable.
70% of students think that U of A is a great place for diversity and works to actively foster diversity and inclusion is because of our intentional efforts to do so. I think as a Research One institution doing excellent academic research, we naturally attract a diverse range of students, and we are committed to ensuring that we have a diverse class of students. So we work to reflect that diversity across our employees and our faculty and staff. I think students also come in with an expectation to see diversity. They identify as diverse. They want to see diverse people around them in their classes, in their residence halls, in their clubs. I would say at U of A, we have a pretty expansive definition of diversity. There are certain categories and communities that we would incorporate into that definition, including disability, including gender identity, including veterans, including socioeconomic status. People come in to university with a range of skills, abilities, preferences, tendencies, and that we have a responsibility as an institution of higher education to create learning and curricular environments to meet people where they're at. So we want to be designing a curriculum, assessments, activities, assignments that really advantage a range of learners and not just kind of falling back on traditional ways of exams and assessments. There's a lot of data that would indicate that students learn better in an environment where they are surrounded by diverse peers. It takes intentionality to create classroom spaces and university spaces, campus experiences that are inclusive of that range of diverse students.
What we drive home for students as well as their parents upon entering this institution is that the core foundation of higher education is about discourse and learning from other people. And if you can imagine, this institution is such a complex organization, and it's one of the few places really in the world where, because we are a large public land-grant institution, borders Mexico, has a robust international student population, and we're in Arizona where the weather is wonderful. Right? So we attract so many different people. We have our students, we have our faculty, we have our staff, we have vendors, we have visitors, we have museums on our campus, a planetarium, so the community is regularly on this campus. But with all of those people that come to campus, we all are coming from different backgrounds, perspectives, but what we share with our students and our faculty and staff understand this for the most part, that this is the place where discourse is supposed to happen, where you are going to encounter opinions, thoughts, ideas that you've never heard before, or you're just learning it now, or it's complete opposite of what you know to be true. And how do you respond to that? So what we try to do, because we have this luxury as faculty and staff here on this campus to help our students understand the First Amendment and understand that not only is that our God-given right as citizens of this country, but it's what you're supposed to engage with when you are an educated person. I used to have this saying that I would share with students in a summer program: you can come as you are, but you won't leave as you came. And if you are the same person when you leave this institution as when you first arrived, we didn't do our job and neither did the student. The Campus Climate Survey data regarding students feeling that they can express themselves, I think, again, it's going to depend on population, and let's go with religion as an example. And so I think that for certain groups, it may be more challenging to identify what your religion is, but there are ways that we can create opportunities for students to feel more comfortable, knowing that they have a right, to express their religion. When we administered the Campus Climate Survey in 2011, the definition of safety really focused primarily from the student perspective and even from faculty and staff. It was more related to physical safety. And I think that, students' perception and definition of safety has moved beyond physical safety and is more about that, but also emotional safety and feeling unsafe walking on campus and hearing people use inflammatory language, that type of thing. And so the definition of safety has evolved over time, especially since the last campus climate survey. And what we say to students, faculty, and staff is that the answer to bad speech or offensive speech is more speech, and it's countering the ugly speech with positive and supportive speech.
The University of Arizona has over 500 clubs and organizations that represent the diverse interests of undergraduate and graduate students. At the Disability Resource Center, we have an adaptive athletics program that is the largest, collegiate-based wheelchair sports program in the country. We also have a program that looks specifically at inclusive events and engagement. We must ensure that all of those opportunities to engage with faculty, to do internships, to work in a lab, to attend an event are all accessible. And the U of A takes a really proactive and progressive approach to campus access. One of our goals is to make the campus community aware of universal design and accessibility. So these features are designed into the environment in such a way that they're seamless and it just works for people without needing something different or separate or special. I think for faculty and perhaps various types of professionals on campus, but if there's an influx and request for accommodations, that should point to an opportunity to redesign something. And the idea of universal design is not unique to disability, but it's born out of architecture and it's born out of design. Sustainability and universal design go hand in hand, because when you design something well, and it's usable by the most people to the greatest extent possible, just as it is, without the need for an adaptation or specialized design, that's sustainable. And so our goal is to be a welcoming campus, not just a tolerant campus, or not just a campus that's compliant, but really forward-thinking and letting those values guide all of our design choices and really inform a different conversation on campus access.